that was put in effect late last year. And in the course of looking at the statistics for the performance of the program, it's now been roughly 6 months, and we felt obligated to come back and give you a report indicating the facts. And we've stated the facts here in the agenda item. Unfortunately, while it was a good-hearted attempt, the facts are that during this period of the pilot program, we've only had 1,481 passengers riding the route, and the revenue is only slightly more, which is $1,639. And the highest ridership has occurred on weekends, which is great, but the month of January was the only peak month that we have. And this has cost Augusta approximately $157,000 thus far. In order to continue the program, there would have to be additional financing to continue operating the bus. And we don't currently have that financing in place. And so we've made a recommendation in this agenda item that despite the good-hearted nature of this effort, unfortunately it seems like we need to consider terminating this route. Now, I wish I were better prepared to speak to a smaller use van. I'm not sure if we have a smaller use van in our fleet, but I will certainly go find out the answer to that question. I do know that they're using the smallest size bus that is available in their fleet. They have changed the route a couple of times to try to adjust it based on the ridership and to meet the needs of the population out there. In fact, those route changes were made just in late March, April, and we still have not been able to get the ridership up. We met with Fort Gordon and talked about doing an additional survey, and of course that would be nice, but the longer we wait, the more we're hemorrhaging financially and just not seeing the results.
Community infrastructure. As you all know, it gives people jobs, housing, appointments, pleasure, events, etc. It's also an important economic developer. When you have new businesses come into this community with the possibility of building their business here, one of the questions they'll often ask is whether public transit is available to get their folks to work. And the community that responds by saying no, often that can be the discriminator as to where they go elsewhere. One other comment, public transit being an important part of the community infrastructure, you also have to be responsive to taxpayers as well as those riders and to the employees. And having said that, generally in public transit, a route, the success of it and what the goals are is to try and get 20% of the operating costs back through ridership. Let me skip to Fort Gordon now. I have, in the short 2 weeks that I've been here, had an opportunity to ride on that route. I've had an opportunity to look at those statistics. And I will tell you that with the changes that have been made, candidly, I'm just not certain in my mind that there was enough destinations on that route, to generate the ridership you're looking for. I'm not sure of the marketing that were in place. And additionally, I'm not sure what took place in working with Fort Gordon and the transit agency to look at opportunities for some alternative funding. And I'm not talking about stuff that violates Federal Transit Administration stuff, but did we look into advanced pass sales and those others? And I think that Fort Gordon's important, it's important part of this economic area in this, and so I think there is the opportunity to work forward with them going forward. But I will tell you that at this moment, when you look at things from an economic efficiency part, the numbers don't turn out. And that's a candid view of this looking, 2 weeks into the job.
And what I've done is I've created a route map. Roughly every Monday or the first work day of every week, as in today, we'll have roughly 120 to 220 new students that come on board. I am making sure that, one, they're briefed on this route, two, that they're given this map. On the back of the map, I believe it addresses one of your areas of concern, and that was the time that that bus is gonna be at that location. There are 4 locations on the installation. So this allows the students to know what time on each day that that bus will be there. We just started passing out this in the last month. With any program, generally ridership takes about a year before you can really start seeing it, because it takes that time to get that information out there and to get people used to seeing that bus. One of the other problems that you mentioned, Dawn, is that we only have a few stops. We don't go into the housing area at all on installation or into some of these other major pockets. And the reason we don't do that is because it would then increase the frequency, as far as the time frequency, it would increase that. And it would take us back to an hour and a half or 2 hours with just one bus coming through there. So we cut some of those spots out so that we could get a regular time frame of when that bus is going to be coming through there. Subject to your questions?